Nancy Pelosi has kicked off her highly anticipated trip to Asia, but she refuses to say whether she will visit Taiwan this week, claiming she can't reveal too much for security reasons, of course. So far, the House Speaker's team has provided a list that includes Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, and Singapore. However, China continues to warn against U.S. politicians setting foot in Taiwan, and Beijing's military has started conducting unscheduled exercises 280 kilometers from the island. Tensions continue to escalate in the South China Sea, with Taiwan launching drills of its own. All of this as Beijing says it considers a Pelosi visit to be a red line that the U.S. should not cross.
We have repeatedly made it clear to America our stern position against U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's potential visit to Taiwan. If the U.S. insists on going its own way and challenging the red line of China, it will surely be met with forceful responses.
If the U.S. insists on taking its own course, the Chinese military will never sit idly by, and it will definitely take strong actions to thwart any external forces' interference.
Meanwhile, a commentator for China's Global Times wrote that the Chinese military would have the right to intercept any U.S. fighter jets that accompanied Pelosi's plane and even shoot them down if they don't respond to calls. But despite the threats, U.S. media and politicians continue to argue that Pelosi can't back down now because that would be a big win for China.
We cannot allow Chinese threats to deter a mere visit by a member of Congress to Taiwan.
If we can allow the Chinese to dictate who can visit Taiwan and who cannot, then we have already ceded Taiwan to the Chinese.
If Pelosi postpones or cancels the visit, it will be seen as a U.S. climb down in the face of Chinese indignation and protest, and an affront to our friends in Taiwan.
Beijing says the planned visit not only flies in the face of decades of diplomacy, but also violates the One China policy, which the U.S. has historically respected, in which Taiwan is classified as a breakaway province of China. While the U.S. has sold Taiwan billions of dollars in heavy weapons over the years, it has largely respected the principle in terms of diplomacy up until the Trump administration. And now the Biden administration continues to increase those tensions, with Pelosi taking the largest step towards conflict so far. But China is not backing down. And recently, a representative raised the issue with the UN, calling for the nation's sovereignty to be respected.
Certain countries have repeatedly emphasized the principle of sovereignty over the issue of Ukraine, but they have incessantly challenged China's sovereignty on the Taiwan question, and even deliberately created tension in the Taiwan Strait. This is blasphemy and an infringement of the principles and purposes of the UN Charter.
As for what the people of Taiwan think about the situation, some are expressing concerns that a visit from Pelosi will only lead to even more tensions in the region.
I think she is coming to Taiwan because of her upcoming midterm elections at home. She wants to attract attention and demonstrate that she stands on the side of democracy and freedom to oppose the Chinese Communist Party.
The United States will not be a true friend of ours. Under the geopolitical circumstances, we can only lean a little towards the U.S. Otherwise, China will soon have us for lunch.
With the ball now in Pelosi's court, all eyes are on Taiwan, as observers wonder just how far China is prepared to go in its response and who could actually benefit from such a provocation by the U.S.
The proposed visit to Taiwan by Nancy Pelosi will really blow up the China-U.S. relations and inflict huge detriments to both the Chinese people as well as the American people. This whole episode demonstrates once again in very graphic terms that the United States is challenging the One China policy by words as well as by deeds.